Hello everybody, welcome back as ever to New Millennia, where we are continuing to expand our base and get ourselves set up for visitors and all sorts. Apparently there's a heat wave going on in the UK at the moment, according to what I hear from the relay teams and whatnot, but we have some concerns. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. The iron mine, which I think is somewhere roughly in that direction, I think, hang on, yeah, somewhere in that direction, is fully functional and has its own big refinery, has its own basic assembler, and is fully capable of processing all the materials that we get and whatnot. And I have also, over here with the refinery here as well as over at the mine, fully upgraded them with some gold superconductor laced. I had to actually go and hand dig some gold. Fortunately, we found that when we were scanning for ores and stuff. Gold superconductor laced yield modules. Now, these basically increase the efficiency by which ores are smelted and melted and whatnot and turned into actual useful ingots. So this allows us to get a lot more of the iron out of the iron ore, at the slight cost of being rather power intensive, which is fine over here, because this is literally the only thing that this really needs to worry about for the most part. It's not as big of a concern over at the iron mine, because the iron mine also needs to run the drills and everything there, so little problem. And we do of course have some speed modules on the assembler over at the chalet, but we are having some problems with power. Especially because the iron mine has already dug, to the opposite side of the iron vein, and consequently, we now actually need to either move it and suffer the same problem again in, a matter of hours, or we have to make a very big drill. And I think very big drill is going to be the option to go with, really. So that's going to require a lot of power, and that brings me to the major problem that we keep having, which is that the rover more or less does fine. The rover's very low power for the most part. Running these wheels is not that, energy intensive, and it's got the batteries on the back that make it perfectly fine, and it charges up decently well over here, more or less as long as we're not really doing anything massively intensive, which is to say, at the chalet, pretty much nothing. The drone, on the other hand, the ore detection drone, has firstly still 2 batteries, but the actual thrusters on it are really power intensive. These are, for those of you who may have missed it, these are called EDFs, electric ducted fans, and they're basically, we put fan blades on the end of motors and spin them really freaking quickly, and that gets us some thrust. It's more complicated than that, but I do not have the engineering degree to explain it fully. And yeah, so with these, this uses power very quickly, even on a full charge, which this might have currently. Yeah, it's close to it. Even on a full charge, this has less than an hour or so of runtime, pretty much. And then it has to recharge again, and when it plugs in, it basically drains all of the power out of here, because even with those 3 turbines up there, the chalet does not produce very much power. So if we are going to be doing stuff that is more intensive than the ore drone, then, for instance, having drones pick stuff up over at the iron mine and bring it home, we're going to need a substantially bigger power supply. And we also really need a bigger power supply just to deal with the stuff that we already have. So that is our main thing for today. But fortunately, thanks to the yield modules and everything, the material storage container in here has 5,500 units of iron, so shouldn't be too difficult to make all the stuffs that we want. We pretty much just need to worry about occasionally nosediving the power supply of the chalet, and boy is that going to be unpleasant. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. But let's see if we can't pick out a spot to actually place where this power plant that we're gonna be building is gonna go. I couldn't honestly tell you exactly what we're gonna do with it, but, you know, let's find out. Let's find out. So, we want the merge block that is there to be off. Good. Unmerged. Grand. And then we should be able to connect these in short order. Yep, there's the ore drone. When it boots up, we should be able to connect to the ore drone. Yay. How much charge you got? 9 hours? It's not bad, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. Okay. So this is still missing the downwards camera. I'd forgotten about that. Okay, well, if you've got, like, 2 hours-ish of holding right there, using 14 units already, jeez. Then, let's get that camera reinstated. Goes right there. Real quick. We should be able to handle this. Make sure it's pointing the right way. What do you need? Steel plates. Can handle that. And probably a bit more than that. Just because this is definitely a lot more useful when you actually can see below it without tilting the camera to it. So the downside, I guess, of using drones rather than manned craft is you can't really turn your neck because you kind of don't have one. But not to worry. Okay, camera F is fine, and you want to be camera D. Okay. Back to the remote controlling. Right, okay. So, there's the chalet. And if we... I'm actually just going to use the WASD controls here because I do not want to see this thing tilting much. Over there on the left is our actual antenna. Doing a pretty decent job there of keeping us in contact with the mainland. And what am I talking about? Where am I calling it? We, strictly speaking, are the mainland, but anyways. There's the row of dents, which I think is from when the drone crashed the first time I took it out. But, you know, now I've got a decent idea of just how fast this thing can move and, like, to where and for how long. And we're already... yeah, we're already really nudging our time here. Hey. But, let's see, over... yep, there's the refinery, right there. So, somewhere near the refinery would be good, I think, as a choice of where to put a power plant. Especially because it would mean we'd be able to renovate this top, like the top of this sort of like hillock kind of area on the top of our mountain here, and actually have that be flat and more useful for driving the rover over. Among other things, I'm sure. That would also keep it fairly close to the chalet, so theoretically we could run a cord or something over there and back just to keep the chalet really powered. We'd want to make sure the grid that involved was relatively light and robust, though, because the chalet's power supply, though very much a stock module, is probably still not good to hook up to a direct, like, full-blown power plant. Conversely, our theoretical third option, I guess, we could go all the way over here, and 100 meters per second appears to be the large, like, limit for this particular drone. But if we go all the way over this direction, we'll find ourselves at the iron mine. So let's have a quick look at that. We're about 1 kilometer up here, so let's just be careful of our speeds as we go down. I don't want to smash this thing into the ground again. And I did clear out a little... I did have to change things around a little bit. So we now actually have, I guess, sort of a parking spot, a full-blown parking spot for the rover. It is sitting on top of the iron deposit, like the iron deposit that we need to deal with. But, you know, it's getting there. Okay, just make sure I'm... Yeah, there we go. Ah, so yeah, fully stripped up and ready to go. Does have a degree of content in it, but we do have to be a little aware of the fact that it's not really heavily able to access more iron at the moment, partially because we keep pulling it out, and also partially because it's dug through it. But yeah, I think the best place for us to have our new power plant is probably going to need to be fairly close to us anyways. So with that in mind, we'll start up by building it on the top of that mountain. Let's get to work with that, get some resources together, and I will take the drone home. Now, I'm actually curious if the drone's... I'm actually curious if the drone's autopilot can get it back here. And we can definitely afford to build another one, so sure, let's bring it back, and let's just see what the camera shows for it. So it's on its way. It has one marker that's directly above its merge point, and then one that's actually at the merge point. I don't think it can handle the actual landing part, but, you know, it's an important thing to know that it can do, I guess. Here it comes. And again, I don't really trust it to land, but... definitely found its way over here. Okay, let's see if we can't regain control of it here. So, autopilot off. Control. And let's bring it home. So from the downward angle, we want to be facing into the chalet, but not in such a fashion as we drive it into the chalet. And it's still... okay, yeah, I think I see the problem here. It builds up downwards momentum a lot faster than it will bleed it, so it needs some significantly... it needs more up, essentially. I think we're doing well. Okay. Those off. There you go. Nice. Nice. Okay. Alright, back to prepping for getting this power plant, shall we? Alright, so here we are, and the job is to get, firstly, a quick little platform. That is definitely not the right level. I forgot this is only like, this is like sunken half in, isn't it? Based on our actual, like, scalings. So, probably going to want to, oh, this might disrupt the way I usually drive back from the mine. Well, that shouldn't be too big of a concern, because obviously this whole thing is in service of us actually not needing to drive there anyways, so it's probably okay if we just, don't worry about that too heavily. Okay, so obviously at this altitude, the main source of power, at least the most reliable source of power, is wind turbines, so that's what we're going to be using for this. Later down the road, we might change up to maybe some geothermal. There are some active volcanoes here in West Antarctica. But for the moment, what we're mostly just interested in is having ourselves a nice bit of wind, because Lord knows it is always windy over here. So, don't need to worry too much there. Let me just get a nice, decently wide access. There we go. Yeah. Saves me some fuel, so I'll take it. Alright. So, let's see. That side goes way down very quickly. Now, I've done the maths, and we should be decently supported by having about a 7x7 grid of wind turbines. This is provided that they have sufficient clearance on all sides from each other so that they don't interfere. So let's just start up by determining exactly how much that's going to be. I have loaded up the rover with materials for 3 wind turbines, so it should be no problem to get at least a test case or something set up. And let's plug one there as well. Okay. Should have the materials on hand, but just in case I had a few more cooking up in the chalet. Okay. Can I... those... yeah, I think I can swap these for slopes. Just make it even easier to get up here. Yep, nice. Nice and convenient. Always good. Okay. So, we've, generally speaking, gone for 4 to 5 kind of blocks up. Let's start with that. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then let's start by going 2 apart, which 2 might actually be how wide the ones are up there, and I'm pretty sure it's reporting problems. So let's see, turbine, there you are. How big is a 7x7 grid gonna end up with here? Interior plates, needed. Let's see. There they are. This is not gonna be a particularly small structure, but it should at least help. At some point I need to figure out what the actual safety guidelines should be for these ASS units, because they are mightily functional. Okay. So, that's the original one. Clearance good, clearance good, clearance good. Okay, if we move this one step across, do we still get good clearance? Alright. That gets you up and running. And you are 702, 700, 640 on this one. Ooh. Yeah, that's dropping a lot very quickly. The same width? No? Yeah, that is absolutely the same width apart. Do we just need to go with 5 separations? 693, 738, 654. Oh. Yeah, this is gonna drop very quickly, it seems. I mean, it's still more power. Do I still want to be going with it if it's more power, even if it's significantly lower efficiency? That is the question now, isn't it? 677, so no, they're all going down, really. Well, we could try moving them further apart from there, but now we've just equally penalized all of them. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna have a think and see what I can come up with. Well, in the line of bad news always strikes when you least want it, we have a bit of a snowstorm coming in by the looks of things, and I've kept working with this, and I keep seeming to have problems by way of the turbines just gradually decrease their own efficiency, like the whole lot's inefficiency. So given that I can't seem to find a way to avoid that, and maybe the folks at home can figure something out for this, you guys are listening, I know that much, I have gone a very silly route, because there was no one here to stop me, essentially. And I have just stuck them all right there on one pillar. Now, in theory, if I spread a bunch of these around, then we'll be able to hit our 49 goal quite easily, because there's now 5 per pillar, so I just need, like, 10 pillars, and then I'll have beaten my goal, in fact. This is not going to be remotely optimal efficiency, but especially during a windstorm right now, it is not exactly a huge concern. So, yeah, gonna lay those out. They're not very powerful each, but they're at 1.5k per tower, so that's not a huge problem, and you can see the wind is just playing all manner of heck with them, because they're getting blown around all manner of things. But anyways, I'll hopefully get a few more of these up before the wind kills me, and we'll see how this goes. If you happen to remember what I mentioned about the about the iron mine light being kind of hard to see in the fog. There's one over there. We can't even see it at the moment, and also we actually can't really see very much of anything right now. Oh boy. What a great time to be flying around a bunch of rapidly rotating objects like these. Oh, butts, I need to make this further apart. Okay. Speaking from inside the rover here, I think I'm gonna have to call it here because this storm is really bad by the looks of things. It is freezing outside, more so than usual. But I've managed to get about 8 of them out of the, like, 50 that we're trying to build, but nonetheless. So hopefully once the storm quiets down, I'll be able to, like, let you guys know what's going on, but at the moment my ASS is having a little trouble dealing with everything that's going on here, the wind, the cold, everything. It's just, it's a lot, it's a lot. So, for the moment, I am RTB, and I'm going to curl up with a hot beverage of some kind, especially because more or less the only way I have of navigating right now, especially on foot, is my signals. So we really, really want to be getting home. This is a lot. So, I hope you guys don't mind that I didn't quite finish my job today. It is, to my credit, this is one of, like, the bigger things we've done in a very long while, and I will, catch you all in the next one. Ta-ra! Wait. Stop. Do you hear that? That creeping, crawling noise. That dripping like the sound of blood spilling from an open wound. It's the sound of my Patreon, and if you want to outrun whatever is making that noise, as well as grab some fun benefits, head over to patreon.com/lying.